Hello everyone, I'm Michele DeLuca from the Niagara Gazette. With me, of course, is Mayor Robert Restaino, Mayor of Niagara Falls, and we're taking a walk down Main Street today to talk about the wonderful things that are going to happen here over the next few years.
Yep, it's going to be exciting.
It is going to be exciting, Mayor. Tell me a little bit about your background in Niagara Falls. You're born and raised here, and this was your Main Street when you were a child. What are your feelings about it?
So the reality is, the Main Street of my childhood really was an typical American Main Street. At Christmas time, the place was lit up with decorations spanning across the streets. Every one of the department stores or clothing stores on the street decorated in their windows to celebrate the season. It was, I suppose it was sort of like a Hallmark movie that came out.
So we're at the bookstore, which is a long-standing institution, the Book Corner.
Yeah.
I remember meeting Jeff, the owner, years ago when I first started writing in Niagara Falls. He literally was down here pretty much by himself.
Yeah, lonely soul, still sticking it out,
Yes.
and God bless him for doing that.
It's an extraordinary place, and it's part of the master plan, keeping this place and fortifying it.
These are the kinds of things that we want to reinvent and create down here, are those kinds of unique businesses that give... I always like the eclectic feel of a Main Street, the fact that anything can happen on Main Street, and that's what we want to recreate down here. By the way, you see in the background that beautiful building? Can't wait. People in Niagara Falls will be cheering.
Tell me, which
Behind us is the Jens building.
Oh, the Jens building, right.
It is the centerpiece of this Main Street development.
People in Niagara Falls will be cheering when that building comes back. But when you look across the street from police headquarters, where we are now, there are all kinds of wonderful old buildings, and I know that there's an entire... the city's brought in experts on historical preservation tax credits to make it more alluring to invest on this street. So they've created kind of a design of what they think could occur in these buildings. Am I correct in stating it that way?
Absolutely, and we've also had the help of some of our educational institutions, whether it's the folks at Niagara have a footprint here, and they've been very much involved. Folks from the UB Regional Institute have provided some guidance and some assistance in terms of direction and planning. So we've had some people really take a long, hard look at how you can take a street like Main Street that has a great historic feel and reinvent it. The governor's continued commitment to Niagara Falls is very much appreciated. The Downtown Revitalization Initiative and the award of $10 million to help us develop Main Street certainly gives a shot in the arm to those businesses that also want to invest here. The idea being that this $10 million acts as seed money to get additional funding in here. You know, the principal piece of this $10 million is, as you indicated, streetscape and infrastructure, the ability to make the entire district inviting. You know, one of the things that we're also looking at is you've got this large green space that we're standing next to here in front of the municipal complex. And it's really the only green space. If you take a look at Main Street from Niagara Street all the way to where we started on Linwood, it's really the only green space out here. The plan is to not remove the green space, but to make it more inviting. And so that's part of the plan as well, to do some things in a landscaping way and in a streetscaping way to make this green space more of an inviting, not necessarily a public square feeling, but in the nature of an inviting place for pedestrians that are along the way. I mean, I think ultimately you're right. When you bring together citizens, environmentalists, the business community, you're trying to make sure that the ultimate plan is as comprehensive as it can be. No plan's perfect, and I don't want to fool folks into thinking that, you know, we've got the recipe for a perfect plan. But I think what we've done is we've tried to recognize there's a whole lot of voices that need to be a part of the discussion, and to the extent that we can include those voices into the conversation and try to make the improvements well-rounded, we think that while there may still be those who are not happy, in the main, the majority of folks will appreciate the work that we've done.
I like it. So what do you see on the timetable?
Well, you know, I mean, nothing ever works as fast as I'd like it. I tend to be extremely impatient, but I'm suspecting that at least over the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see some significant change here on Main Street. I know that the developers at Blue Cardinal they have a phased-in approach to their plans. And so I'm expecting, the pandemic put back a lot of the development financing that would have ordinarily been in place, was impacted by the uncertainty about how these things would bounce back post-pandemic. Banking institutions, the last time they had to deal with something like this was 100 years ago, so there really wasn't any playbook for it. And so they became very, very cautious, conservative. So a lot of the projects, not just here, but even in our downtown, our hospitality sector, they just got frozen out. And so now everyone's picking up steam again, and we're hoping that not only here, but also in the hospitality corridor near the falls, these projects will pick up.
What I wanted to talk about was also the most important factor, I think, of this particular neighborhood is the train station and our connection eventually to Canada, which links us to the Greater Toronto area and which will allow not only us to and our people to cross the border for jobs in Toronto, because it'd be so easy to get there, but Toronto people to come to Niagara Falls in Western New York and add to our job expertise and creativity, and that's thrilling.
It's very exciting. I know that I've had the opportunity to have a conversation about this topic, and they've been here to advance it, both our Congressmember Higgins as well as Senator Schumer, the majority leader. They understand the importance of expanding that opportunity. With the GO train now having a spur coming straight into Niagara Falls, Ontario, the idea that someone in downtown Toronto can simply jump on the GO train and find themselves in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and then with a little bit more of a push, find themselves coming across not only to this portion of Niagara Falls, but maybe even onto our airport, gives us really an opportunity to tap into an enormous Southern Ontario market. With all of the information and the financing that's in place now and the plans that are in place, I believe we're on the precipice of getting Main Street back to a vibrant and exciting place. I recognize that the Main Street of my childhood is not going to be recreated, but that's okay. As long as we recreate a Main Street, that has the same vibrancy, that has that same kind of feel that it's the place you want to be, then we win.
I like that. Thank you.